Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today's webinar is with a gentleman who has years of experience in trading and is a tremendous resource for information on trading. In addition to being a family man, his social media accounts and his podcast, he is heavily involved in business development for an exciting company with a top-notch product. So believe me when I tell you, I'm really excited to have him with us live today. Now, before I get into that, I wanted to talk briefly about one powerful tool that SpeedTrader has over here. Hotkeys, okay? Hotkeys allow traders to place orders as fast as you can hit a button. There's no clicks of the mouse here, okay? You can perform multiple tasks by using your keyboard. Now, each action or command contains a script, and within that script is the action that is done when you hit the key. So for example, you can have an order placed to buy limit 100 shares at a $5 price with a time and force of a day every time you hold Control and press B, for example. All you would need to do is enter in the ticket of the security you want to buy at the $5 limit. The hotkeys are located within the DOS platform and are extremely useful for entering multiple orders at a time. Now, moreover, you can even set up hotkeys related to window configuration that switches layouts or even switches pop-out functions of the windows. Now, to set up your hotkeys, simply open your DOS platform, go to Setup, and then Hotkey. When the configuration window opens, simply add a new item. Now, this is going to open a script builder and will give you the opportunity to design your very own hotkey sequence. Now, the only thing to remember is that commands in the script are carried out in a sequence from left to right. So if there's a certain command in a string that's important to you first, place that first. Now, I promise you I will do more on this in the future, but if you have any questions in the interim, you can chat in through the website or you can call 800-874-3039. You can ask for me. I will do my best to help you. I'm here to admit that our resident expert on hotkeys is a gentleman by the name of Gideon. He's very busy during the day, but he's never too busy for you traders, okay? Now, I told you I was excited about today's promotion, and I am. I'm so excited. I got something I want all of you to consider. Now, we're going to take $1 off your trades if you are on the per trade plan when you sign up for a year subscription of Trade Ideas. Now, here's how it works. First, purchase the Trade Ideas annual subscription. Then email that receipt to us at info@stockusa.com. Now do this and you will get $1 off all of your equity trades up to the cost of your subscription. So the annual subscription with Trade Ideas is about $10.68. So send us your receipt and you get $1 off until the $10.68 is paid. So essentially, this makes your Trade Ideas purchase gross $10.68 but net $0. So should you have any questions for me, please email dhensley, that's DHEN as in Nancy, S as in Sam, LEY @stockusa.com or call 800-874-3039, extension 409. Now, where do you get this promotion? One place and one place only, traders. speedtrader.com/trade-ideas-rebate. It's right there at the bottom of the screen in this webinar. Now, why should you choose Trade Ideas? Well, I'm going to let their resident expert, Sean, tell you. So here we go, traders. Sean McLaughlin from Trade Ideas.
Hey, Don. Can I hire you to come along and be my intro guy every time I have to speak somewhere? That was wonderful earlier on.
I was told I make a pretty good hype man. That's not a problem. We can work that out.
Well, thanks for having me. And we're always happy to have great partners and SpeedTrader. You and I met at a conference recently down in Florida, and you and I hit it off, obviously, and we saw some great opportunities for synergy between our two platforms, and so we jumped at the opportunity. And this promotion you guys are running is a pretty sweet deal. You get effectively you get Trade Ideas for free. So what's not to love about that if you're an equity trader, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Don, I don't know if you want me to take over right away. Can you see my screen, by the way?
I absolutely can. You are good to go whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, so as Don said, my name is Sean McLaughlin. I'm from Trade Ideas. I've been with the company for a little while now, but I've been a trader for 20 years, and I actually was an early customer of Trade Ideas back in 2006. I was a prop trader at on a trade floor in Chicago, and we had early access to it. The earliest version of Trade Ideas, which at that time was really just one little window that was an alert window. It would tell me things like a stock making a new 52-week high, things like that. And as rudimentary and as basic as it was unbelievably indispensable to my trading routine. And I couldn't imagine trading without it at the time when I was working at that prop desk. And that was back in 2006. Trade Ideas has been around since 2003, so we're now 15 years into the game, completely changing the game in a lot of ways. And what we're going to talk about today is how we are kind of leading the cause in artificial intelligence for traders. Artificial intelligence is a big buzzword out there today. No doubt you've heard it. A lot of people want to find out ways that they could use artificial intelligence to solve whatever their business problems are. And when it comes to trading, Trade Ideas is one of the first companies to really explore artificial intelligence, and most certainly we are the first company to offer artificial intelligence as a service, software as a service, to both retail and professional traders. There's nobody else out there offering artificial intelligence on a subscription basis to retail traders. So we're pretty proud of that. We started this project about 5 years ago. We went live with it in January of 2016. So about 2.5 years ago, we went live, offered it for our subscribers. And it's been a rousing success. We call our artificial intelligence engine, we call her affectionately Holly. Just like IBM has their Watson, we have our Holly. So Holly is what we call it. So when I say Holly, that's what I mean as we go along in this talk here. And by the way, Don, I don't have like a prepared speech or anything like that. I'm just going to kind of walk through some of the features and how we think about AI and how we leverage it for trading. So feel free to stop me and interrupt me if you have any questions, or I'm not sure if you have questions available for people to ask questions on this webinar, but if you do, feel free to interrupt and we'll tackle those. All right, bud?
Yeah, that sounds great, man.
All right, cool. Well, so what you're looking at right here on my screen is you are looking at one of our channels. You'll notice on the left-hand side, I got this thing called a channel bar, and I have a bunch of different channels I could scroll through. And essentially all these channels they're just different windows into different corners of the market so that you can quickly zoom in on things that you're interested in. Like if you want to look at energy stocks, we have an energy channel. If you want to look at metals stocks, you could click there. We have a blockchain and cryptocurrency channel where it focuses on stocks that have some kind of exposure to the space, whether it's in infrastructure or medical or whatever the case may be, or not medical, but anything that has anything to do with building for the blockchain or cryptocurrency. So they're all different layouts. And so what we're looking at here is a layout that I have for Holly. We have 3 different Holly channels we have shown right here. I'm just going to show you the 2.0 version right here. And what you're looking at is in this bottom left box here, you see all the trades that Holly did today. Okay, kind of a slow day for her. Looks like she did 12 trades in this version. But where I really want to start with this is I want to start with this window right here. So let me give you a little background of how our AI works. Now, you'll notice in this window here, we have a strategy column, and you'll notice a number of strategies here. If I stretch this window out a little bit, you can see them all. See 1, 2, 3, 4, about 9 strategies listed here. They all have different names like looking for bounce and little big guy and the vault, all these clever little names. So these are 8 or 9 strategies out of a bucket of about 50 strategies that we have. Now, all of these strategies have been built in-house by members of the Trade Ideas team. Everyone at Trade Ideas, maybe not everyone, but 90% of the employees at Trade Ideas, we are all traders. We're currently traders, and we've all traded for a long time. Most of us for more than 20 years. So we have built strategies that we have used personally to great effect, and we have imported these strategies into our artificial intelligence engine. And what our engine does on a nightly basis is it goes through all 50 or so strategies, like the 9 that you see here. It'll go through all 50 or so strategies, and it will run a back test on these strategies. And that back test goes, I believe it goes over about 3 months of intraday trading data. And it'll run the back test, and it'll crank out the numbers, and it'll tell you, what's the win-loss rate, what's the average win versus the average loss, what's the drawdown, all those stats that we all know that when we're evaluating systems that we look at. But that's not where Holly stops. Once she's run those back tests, she goes through each strategy one by one and optimizes each strategy. So for example, if I'm looking at this tailwind strategy, Holly will look through the tailwind results of her back test, and she'll say, okay, well, strategy did pretty well, but I noticed that stocks, priced under $25 a share, for example, the performance is really poor. Our win rate is really low. Maybe it's too much commissions, whatever the case may be. Those stocks under $25 are a drag on the performance. So Holly will determine to filter out stocks under $25 for that one strategy. And she'll go in and rerun the back test and see how the results look now with the new filter in place. And she'll repeat that process on something like 25 or 30 different parameters until she gets to a spot where she feels that the strategy is optimized to have performed optimally over the past 90 or so trading days or 90 days. And she does that for all 50 strategies. That's a process that if you or I, Don, were to try to do that by hand, it'd probably take us about 2 weeks. She runs it and does it in about an hour every night. And so after she has gone through and re-optimized all these strategies to work best in the current market environment, the last piece of information that she will analyze is she will look at what the overall markets are doing. She'll say, is the S&P 500 trending up? Is it trending down? Is the NASDAQ volatile? Are we in a choppy market? Is our volumes high or volumes low? So those types of things. She tries to assess the type of market that we're in. And with that final piece of information, at the end of that night, she will determine that, okay, here's the type of market we're in. And in this type of market environment, out of all 50 strategies that I have, I recommend, in this case, as you can see in this window, I recommend these 9 strategies to have the best statistical chance to deliver profitable trades to us on the next trading day, in this case today. So when she went through her process last night, she determined that these 5 or these 9 or 10 strategies here had the best statistical chance of delivering trades, profitable trades to us today. And how did she do? Well, it was kind of a mixed results today. And I'm glad we had mixed results because it gives me an opportunity to kind of explain what's going on here. So you'll notice in this P&L graph here, it's showing plus 84. I'm going to toggle this. So there's actually 2 graphs that we show here. There's a risk off profit you see there, and there's a risk on. So let me start with risk off, and it was a down day. What risk off means is, as Holly gets into trades, they show up in this window and the market's closed, and I have a trade that's stuck in this window for some reason. I don't know why this is here. I got my team looking into it. But when trades happen, when Holly gets into a trade, it will show up in this window. You'll have a bell go off, or it's a customizable sound, so you can have whatever sound you want. But in my case, I have a little bell that goes off. It tells me that she just got into a trade. In this case, it was ticker DCP. It'll tell you the price she got in, and it'll tell you both in the data here and also on a chart. You'll see on this chart, you can see the gradients here. This is a 5-minute chart. You'll see where her stop loss level is, and you'll see where her profit target level is, which is a little bit off this chart right now. It's higher up, but the green area shows you where her profitable zone. So you will know, as soon as she gets into the trade, you'll know the price she got in, the time she got in, and where her targets are. So you can choose to jump on that trade as well. Now, I said that because with the risk off profit chart that you see here, this is what your P&L would have been If you took every trade that Holly got into today, meaning you got in at the same price she got in, around the same time that she did, and you exited the trade at the same time she does. Now she'll exit trades for, there's actually 5 reasons she'll exit a trade. We already talked about 2 of them. If it hits a stop loss or a profit target, she exits the trade. Quickly, the other reason she'll exit a trade is for an algo called reduce risk. What that means is once she gets into a trade, starts going her way, and all of a sudden the stock changes character, meaning this was a stock that was going up or down 10 cents every 5-minute candle, nothing crazy. And then all of a sudden it rips up 50 cents and slams down 75 cents and then rips up $1. It just completely changed its character. Holly will take that as a signal to exit the trade. She's like, okay, the stock has changed character. I don't recognize this trade anymore. I don't know how to manage my risk. So I'm just going to close out and take the money off the table so I can redeploy elsewhere. A 4th reason she'll exit a trade is what's called profit save. Every algorithm that sends us a trade has a different rule for profit save. But for example, a profit save rule might be any trade where she's up at least $1 in, she'll only allow it to pull back 50%, or in this case, 50 cents, right? So stock went up $1, pulls back 50 cents. Holly will say, all right, this is my line in the sand. I'm not willing to give back any more profits. I'm going to close the trade here. And then finally, the fifth and final reason she'll exit a trade, if either of the previous 4 reasons didn't get her out of a trade, then every trade has a ticking time clock on it. And again, for every algorithm, it's a different time. Like some strategies, she'll only hold a trade for 30 minutes. Other strategies, she'll hold a trade for 4 hours. Just kind of depends. But either way, every trade has a ticking clock on it. And if she's still in the trade at the expiration of that time, then profit or loss, no matter what, she closes the trade and moves on. As far as she's concerned, it's dead money. It's not doing anything. Time to go. All right. So, and by the way, you will see those trades as they happen as well. Just like when they pop into this open trades window with that audio alert, you'll see it pop up here. When the trade closes, it'll get moved down to this window. You'll hear a bell or a crash or any kind of sound you want. That will go off and it will alert you that she has exited the trade. And if you're in it and trying to trade just like her, you'll want to exit your trade also. Maybe you'll get a better price. Who knows? But this risk off, going back to this risk off chart here, this is showing you what your P&L would have been had you traded every trade that Holly did. So you got in when she got in and you got out when she got out. And the way we tally it, we do it on a per share basis. I realize that's not the best way to do it because you're going to trade fewer shares of $100 stock than you will probably of a $15 stock, right? But the way our algo machine does it just does it on a per share basis. So if you did every trade, if you did say 100 share lots of every trade that Holly was in today, and these are all the trades here, these are all the tickers. If you did 100 share lots, you would have lost $34. She was down 34 cents, right? So 34 cents times 100 shares would be $34. Not great, but certainly not terrible, right? That's if you took every trade that Holly did. Now, we have 2 profit charts. Remember I told you the risk off, and now here's the risk on, and this one was actually positive. You could see it was red for half of the day, but she rallied into the close. Risk on profit, how that is calculated is that shows you what your P&L would be if you entered every trade that Holly enters. Okay, you get in at the same time and the same price, or maybe you don't get the exact same time, but you get in soon after she got in, and you get pretty close to her price. If you got in with her, but instead of closing the trade when she closes, instead you're going to hold that trade all the way to the close, no matter what. Now, I say no matter what with a caveat. I would certainly honor the stop loss no matter what. Stop losses are not to be trifled with, as anyone who's been around the business long enough knows. But certainly with risk on, it's just telling you if you held the trade till the end of the day, that's what your P&L would be. Now, why is this important? Well, we did this for the original reason we did this is because from feedback from our customers, we realized that yes, our customers love getting this signal that Holly's getting into a trade and they want to get in and follow along with her. But when it came to exits, everybody has their own flavor for how they get out of trades and how they manage their trades. Some people like to take profits as a trade goes their way. Some people like to scale out. Some people like to add to a position as it keeps going and then adjust their exits accordingly. So everyone has a different way to get out, and there's no right way to do it. It's just whatever's right for you. So we built this extra measurement to just show people, okay, well, we'll show you how the stocks will trade and how they trend throughout the day, the ones that we got into. And we built that. And then what we figured out is astute traders were figuring out that there was value in knowing the difference between the performance of these two metrics. So whether or not you are doing Holly trades or doing your own intraday trades from your own strategy, trading your own stocks has nothing to do with Holly. But if you're an intraday trader and you see that this risk metric here, that risk on is outperforming risk off like it was today, that's a pretty strong signal that traders are being paid to sit and hold their winners. So if you get into a trade, maybe at 10:30 Eastern, and you find yourself up a quick 50 cents, you might be very tempted to take that profit. Maybe you've been having a bad run, or maybe you just, money's burning a hole in your pocket. You just like to take those profits quickly. Well, a quick glance at this chart here, and if you see the risk on is outperforming risk off, that's a pretty strong indication that people are being paid to hold their winners. So you would be strongly advised to sit on your hands, go for a walk, fix yourself a sandwich, kick the dog, whatever you need to do to keep yourself distracted from trading. Because if you got a hold of a winner, this is the type of day where your 50-cent winner might turn into a $4 winner if you hold it all day. So that's what this tells you. And conversely, if risk off is outperforming, which happens pretty regularly, it's probably split 50-50 approximately throughout every day. But on a day when risk off is outperforming, that tells you that we are in a choppy market and you would be best advised to take profits when you have them. So if you going back to that same scenario, if you get into a trade and you're up a quick 50 cents, in that situation when risk off is outperforming, you would be best advised to either take that profit or at the very least to be very aggressive in moving up your stop loss in the direction of the trend, because this is a choppy market and profits are fleeting. You don't want to let them get away from you. So if nothing else, with the artificial intelligence software provided by Trade Ideas, if nothing else, if you just use this chart to guide you in your own day trading with your own ideas, this alone will pay for itself in my mind, because that's one of the greatest things that traders wrestle with, especially new traders, is like, hey, I get it, man. I gotta cut my losses short. I get that. I put my stop loss in, and I don't want to risk more than 50 cents on a trade or $1 or whatever the number is. But so many people have trouble managing winners. In fact, I live in Colorado, and anyone who's active on social media or Twitter is probably familiar with a trader named Peter Brandt. He's a 50-year market veteran. He's made tens of millions of dollars in his career as a futures trader. He's not quite my neighbor, but we live close enough together. We've gotten together from time to time and had some beers and some pancakes. Random. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, Peter, one of the things he's told me, and I've learned a lot from him over the years, but one of the things that he shared with me, and he continues to reiterate this in blog posts that he writes and on Twitter, is that in his nearly 50 years in trading, the hardest trades for him are always the winners. And it sounds counterintuitive, but for him, he's like, look, man, stops are stops. I know where I need to get out, and they are honored no matter what. I mean, I put them in there, I place them with the market, and they get my losing trades get taken out, and I don't even have to worry about them. But it's the stocks that, or he's more of a commodities trader, but it's like the positions that immediately go against me, that start screaming my way. Those are the trades you think I would be super happy about. And yes, I'm happy, but man, those are the most stressful ones, because you're so tempted, especially if it moves quickly in your way, you're so tempted to take those profits. But those are the trades that turn into the monster winners, the ones that take off right away. And that's been the hardest thing for him to learn. And he's a fantastically successful trader, and he still struggles with that. So I feel like this indicator, if nothing else, using this to guide your trading on when to sit on your hands and when to be aggressive in taking profits is very valuable all by itself. Now, Don, I never actually got an answer out of you. I don't know if you're still listening, but are people able to ask questions? And if so, are questions coming in? Because I'll be happy to take some before I move on.
Yeah, no, questions are coming in right now. We have a few, and actually, we just got one in and I'll read the question. So it's the client's words, not mine. It says, please ask about Holly shorting stocks. It's not uncommon that Holly short stocks that as a trader I cannot short. Do you have a a preset thing for where Holly says, hey, these might be a good idea to bet against?
Well, I think what he's asking is he probably runs into trouble sometimes finding locating stock to short when he's trying to get short. That's a common frustration for a lot of traders. So Trade Ideas does not connect to your brokerage. So on a case-by-case basis, we won't know what stocks are available for you to short or not. I mean, I might be able to short ticker XYZ at my brokerage, but you might not. And that's just because some brokerages have access to these things and some don't. So I guess I kind of have an unsatisfactory answer. Holly does take short trades. She didn't take any today, but she did have 2 short strategies active, but they did not see any trades. So you can see 0 trades. It shows right here. So she will get short trades, and she has great success with them. In fact, often better than the long trades. But we are not able to delineate whether or not that stock is shortable for you because everybody has a different basket of stocks that are available. Hopefully it's not an issue you run into a lot. But I imagine at some point, especially when we hit a bear market finally, whenever that day is going to come, when there's going to be lots of great shorting opportunities, I imagine there'll be cases where stocks will be hard to borrow, hard to locate. But our software does not make any distinction for that because we don't have that data.
Got it. Well, I'll tell you what, we have another question here, and I think this was very applicable to what it was you were just talking about. Client asks, is risk for profit per stock or for the overall market?
Risk first. Repeat that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you were going through the risk on and risk off.
Right.
So the question from the listener today is the risk per stock is what they want to know, or is it for the overall market?
So these, if I understand correctly, what he's asking is what is this P&L chart showing me? This is the P&L of all trades taken by Holly. So in this case, it was this basket of trades here. There were 12 trades taken today. This is what the P&L looked like throughout the day if you were holding all of these stocks long, because we're on the risk on right now. If I was on risk off, they'd be showing also your profit and loss throughout the day, but these are stocks that she exited throughout the day.
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I got a little story for you, and then I'm gonna follow that up with a question. So okay. I went to Fordham University down here in New York, and I remember I took a Java programming class. So the first day of class, the professor is going over, all the stuff that we're going to be responsible for, throughout the year. And the one project that we had was we were actually going to go ahead and program a JavaScript for an ATM machine, which was pretty cool. It was a little class project. So me, being the entrepreneur that I was, raised my hand and I said, hey, you know what? I noticed that in the Java language, there's a lot that goes on with the different types of syntax that you have. So are you able to give partial credit, right? And the professor looks at me, I swear to God, he looks at me and he goes, let me ask you a question. You're an engineer. You build a bridge and the bridge falls down. Do you get partial credit? Okay. Right. So my point is, for fellas like me, Sean, how hard is this to set up? And do you guys have a support staff that's dedicated to folks like me that inevitably would have questions about their trade idea setup?
Well, that's a great question, Don. And as far as the setup goes, all you simply need to do is download our software. It takes about 30 seconds. And once you download it and fire it up and launch it for the first time, you will be delivered to one of these preset channels here. But all you need to do if you want to do the artificial intelligence, you just click on one of these Holly channels, Holly Grail, Holly 2.0, Holly Neo. Just click on any one of these channels and you will be delivered to this layout. It's already set up for you. It's right here. It's ready to go. Now, as far as training and learning how to use the software, if you need help, and most people do, look, frankly, Trade Ideas, like any other software, I'm sure just like Speed Trader as well, if you've never seen it before, the first time you turn it on, look at it, you're probably like, what the hell is all this? So much stuff here. What am I doing? Where do I start? Trade Ideas certainly is no different. We think that once you spend put some dedicated effort into it, a couple days, I think you'll get the hang of it pretty quickly, but overwhelming at first, certainly. And we recognize that. And one of the things we do at Trade Ideas is we have what's called TI University. We must have been inspired by Trump. I don't know, but we call it Trade Ideas University. And every day, Monday through Friday, we have live training classes conducted by our trainers. Monday through Thursday, we do curriculum. So Monday's like the Beginners 101 class hosted by yours truly and my co-pilot, Andy. Then we do a Beginners 201 class on Tuesdays, and then we do an intermediate class on Wednesdays and an advanced class on Thursdays. And in those classes, they're 90 minutes. They start at noon Eastern every day. And for the first hour of the 90-minute call, we have curriculum, items that we definitely want to talk about and demonstrate for users. And users have the ability to ask questions of our trainers as they're going through stuff and get those questions answered live on the screen for everyone's benefit. And then we leave about 30 minutes at the end just for general questions. So that's every day. And then on Fridays, we do a 3-hour session, a live 3-hour session. You got the whole training team on the call, myself, Andy, Jamie, Steve. There's 4 of us. Maybe even Michael will be joining us soon. Everyone's on the call and we're taking questions. We usually have, 100 so people participate in the call, customers of ours, and asking questions. And we're just, it's a no holds bar. Whatever you want to know, we will demonstrate how to do it for you. And it's a great, even if you don't have any questions of your own, it's a great, if you have the time and you have the ability, kind of run it in the background, just have it going, have the volume down a little bit low, but loud enough so you can hear it. Because every once in a while, somebody might ask a question that, oh man, I didn't know that was a feature. I didn't know I could do that. I'd like to learn how to do that. And then you'll learn something new. And I started working at Trade Ideas a little over a year ago. And man, I'll tell you, those training sessions, I just was a listener for the first 6 months. I listened to the other guys do them, and I would keep it on in the background. And it was like every session, I was like, oh man, I just learned something new. That's pretty cool. And so if I'm learning stuff new and I work for the company, I know our customers will too. So plenty of opportunity to get help. We also have a very responsive support staff during live market hours. You can always go to our website, trade-ideas.com. We have a live chat box there where you can get somebody on the horn really quickly to answer your questions, or at least point you in the right direction to get your question answered. We are also very good at responding to emails. Even on nights and weekends, we have people checking in and monitoring stuff. So Don, that was a very long-winded way of me saying that, yes, we have lots of ability for people to get support. We have a YouTube channel with a whole bunch of videos, some short videos, some long videos that to get into specific features and show you how to use them. So lots of avenues, and there's plenty of people on social media that use Trade Ideas, and they're more than happy to share what they're doing and show you how to do it. So it's a great community we've built over the years.
That is fantastic. One of the things that I talk to traders about all the time, especially traders that are unfamiliar with DOS and Sterling, those are the 2 platforms that we have over here. And they come over and they say, hey, which software package should I pick up? What should I do? What should I get? This, that, and the other thing. And then, I walk them through it. And I'm here to tell you that with a lot of people, price is an issue. And you want to know what? Trading is your business. So regardless of what it is that you do, price should be an issue. But what I try to tell people is I say, listen, we live in a day, the days of calling your broker are over. Okay. They're gone. I think I read one of your tweets the other day. It was so funny. It was like, our stockbroker is even a thing anymore. Right. Right. So what I tell people is I go, listen, you know what? I don't want to tell you what you do with your own business, but you're going to be competing with everybody else who uses this software. Okay. So, if I'm allowed to ask, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask you, but how big is your user base? I mean, you guys are huge, right?
We are pretty big, and it's the growth of the company has been really amazing in the last 4 years, especially since we launched AI. I mean, I'm not kidding when I say we are currently experiencing hockey stick growth. It's pretty amazing. I don't have a hard number for you of how many subscribers we have, but it's in the neighborhood of at least, I think I'm being conservative when I say we have at least 10,000 customers,
Wow.
subscribers. And many of them come through partnerships we have with some brokers and who have embedded our software into their platform. So that helps. But yeah, we have over 10,000 paying subscribers, and it's growing every month, which is pretty astounding to see.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man. Like I said, when we were at that conference, you showed me some of the stuff that was at the conference. We got to talking afterward, and I told Craig about this. I said, listen, I said, what we're going to do is we're going to offer this to people, and we're going to offer it to them with an incentive. I think that we should, talk to our traders about trade ideas, and I think we should pay for it. And Craig looks at me and he goes, well, I think it's good to see that you're in the position of telling me what to do now, right? So, okay, but yes, I just want to reiterate what it is that what we're doing. We're taking a buck off of your trades, all of your trades. So what that does is it makes your purchase around 1068, but it makes your net to us zero. Sean, can you talk briefly about some of the purchasing options that you guys have, with trade ideas? I mean, how people can get involved?
Certainly. And I think I do need to clarify one thing since we're talking prices. The prices you're quoting is an accurate price, but it's for our standard subscription. It's not for our premium subscription, which is what you'll need for access to Holly. I was going to pull up a thing, but I couldn't find it, so I won't bother you with my screen. But basically, we have two versions of trade ideas. We have the standard version, which gives you access to just about everything on the platform, all the alerts and scanners, which, I mean, we haven't even talked about that in this presentation because we've just been talking about AI. But the bedrock of trade ideas for years has been the scanners, the alerts, the back testing, all that. So a standard subscription gives you access to that. If you want access to Holly, that's a next level up, and that's part of our premium service. Okay, so there's two types, standard and premium. And then of those two, you could do a monthly subscription or you can do an annual subscription. Now, a standard subscription annual cost is, as what you said, it's $11.68, I believe is what the number is. For a premium annual subscription, it's $22.68 for the year. So sorry if that screws things up for you guys.
No, that doesn't screw up anything at all. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and match you on the premium. So we'll take a buck off until you reach the premium. We'll take a buck off until you reach the annual. Whatever it is you do with the annual subscription, we will meet you there until the subscription has paid for itself for a 1-year membership.
Huzzah! This sounds like one of those TV commercials where like, and we don't stop there. If you buy now, you get twice as much.
Yeah, I know. Order now, and then it shows like, whatever. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, listen, I think everybody's gotten a lot out of this today. I know I have, and you know what? I just wanted to thank you very much for coming on today, Sean. I think this product and this company is great. Should anybody have any questions, please email me directly, D Hensley, that's HEN as in Nancy, S as in Sam, LEY, at stockusa.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Sean, I'm going to turn it back to you. Do you have anything else you'd like to show us?
Yeah, well, I actually it sounds like we're wrapping up, and I would like to leave your audience with one final thought. And this is something that I've written about recently on my blog, and I was just a guest on a podcast which hasn't aired yet, but it will air soon. And a thing that I've been talking about a lot lately, which I think will appeal to all of your listeners, is I've been trading for 20 years, and sometimes if you've been around this business long enough, you get an inkling about things. You get a sense of shifts that are happening. And one of the things that I'm starting to sense, and a lot of the smart people who've been around the business that I know, that I've been talking to, are also getting a sense for this as well, is that the market seems like it's starting to become positioned in a way where we are going to return to a day when active trading is once again a very profitable experience. Okay, I started trading in the late 90s. I experienced the whole internet trading boom, or the dot-com boom, and for anyone who traded during that time, that was the most profitable time for an active trader, probably in the history of trading. Okay, there was so much money to be made, and we all miss those days. Well, I feel like we're starting to come back to that. The public got scared away from the stock market after the dot-com bubble burst, and then the financial crisis happened, and all of a sudden, stock market was a dirty word, right? I mean, nobody's talking about stocks anymore. Don, you've been around long enough. You know, in the 90s, everybody and their brother was talking about stocks.
Oh yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
Everybody was either talking about the hot internet stock they just bought or the hot uh, networking stock that they're making a shit ton of money in. Sorry for language. Or they're talking about this great new IPO that's coming that they're going to participate in. Everybody wanted a tip. Everybody offered a tip. Everybody was trading. Everybody had an opinion. I'm talking everybody. People talked about stocks in the 90s the way everybody complains about politics today, right? um, so, and for a long time, that disappeared, and it disappeared. Probably the final nail in the coffin for that kind of public zeitgeist with the stock market was probably the financial crisis, and after that nobody wanted to talk about stocks anymore. Well, I'm here to tell you that I talk to a lot of people, not just in trading but outside and other pursuits, and I'm starting to notice that people are starting to talk about stocks again. I was just at a dive bar last night in a small mountain town in Colorado, and me and my buddy who happens to be a trader, we were sitting there talking about trading and whatnot. And people at the bar, complete strangers to us, complete like Joe regular dudes, overheard our conversations. And one guy comes over to show me his mobile trading app, and another guy comes over and says, "I'm a day trader. I trade from my house up in the mountains. I trade AMD." I'm like, "What? Who are you? What's going on?" And it was great conversations to have. But point is that people are starting to get involved in the stock market again. The passive investing craze, I think, has kind of run its course, and people are going to want to start managing their trades again, and people are going to start seeing there's money to be made. And Don, it's starting to feel like, I'm not saying we're going to have a 100% gain in the Nasdaq like we did in 1999. I'm not saying that's happening, but I'm saying as far as the public getting more interested, the public coming back into the market, that is great news for anybody who's trading now, who's learning their craft, and who is getting access to great tools like Speed Trader and Trade Ideas, and learning how to leverage those technologies. Because we, the people who are participating now, when that next wave comes, when the next wave of market participants come in with money and naivety, we're going to be taking money out of their pockets, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I am completely blown away by what you guys are offering. I think you're right on a lot of points today, Sean. I wanted to thank you very much for coming on today, talking to our clients. Again, folks, traders, should you have any ideas or questions or anything like that, please, you know where to find me over here. You can chat in through the website. You can call 800-874-3039. For those of you live now, I'll give you time to grab a pen. That's 800-874-3039. My extension is 409, like the cleaner, right? And you can reach me through email at dhensley@stockusa.com. Sean, again, thank you very much for coming on today. Folks, thank you very much for being here today. And we will put out more webinars in the future with trade ideas, that I can assure you.
It was a pleasure, Don. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Guys, Sean, thank you very much. Everyone take care. Best of luck in the markets.